and then somebody comes to push them. It's tough to know. So this one you both are going to disagree with. The main reason I don't want Kadri, because this one's going to be to prove to everyone, to you two, to the team that went on 2 runs. All the hints are there that there is a cohesive unit motivated to work together to get back there, and they really want to. When you have guys like Zach Parise, who took a mercenary deal to come, the fact that he would take another mercenary deal and choose the Islanders, and whatever you think about Clutter, but everyone's pens are indicating they want to stay. And I said this, I think it's very silly to not give the group one chance, because I truly believe the main factor is that lack of rest. They looked like a beat-up team, and me, just for my personal sanity, I'll be happy to say, you guys are right about that one. I'd like to see this team with a full off season, and now that they, at least if this Romanov kid could have just hold up, he's a minute eater, and then Sorokin is hitting up, like, we should have the highest level of goaltending we've had in this whole stretch, and we're going to need it because we're not going to play that rigorous defense. I want to give these guys a shot to prove everybody wrong, because I will guarantee you the numbers, you'll see upticks from all those guys who are healthier. You'll see a Pageau uptick. You'll see a Beauvillier bad luck uptick. You'll see a Barzal uptick from his points last year, because there's also the freedom in the ability to make mistakes. You're not going to see oh my God, I missed a clearance. You guys don't factor that in too, like where there can be this freedom, allotted to these players who are being clamped down by 10 minutes per night. And maybe they'll have a little freedom to move out there, and there can be some offensive strides that Sorokin can maybe patch up early in the season until they form that new identity. But I want to give these guys, they're not that old. They're not ancient. They're not the Penguins. I want to give them one shot, man, to make it right.
We've talked about that being the best case scenario, is the guys who felt a little shackled under Barry Trotz's system with a new coach, a new voice in the room. Well, not a new voice in the room, but, a new coach, maybe a little bit more freedom to be more adventurous in certain situations, and to be more instinctive instead of such a rigid structure. Maybe it's going to allow them to perform a little better and allow them to kind of take off. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Now, here are items that I could see that could very possibly be the case. Grumpy has dismissed it. Others that we've had on the show have dismissed it. This is a first-time head coach in Lane Lambert. I think that, Barry Trotz had his faults. Lane Lambert's going to have his faults. I think that we go from a guy who, and again, I think that we had to move on from Barry Trotz. I'm just not sure. I think it's kind of foolhardy to say I'm expecting Lane Lambert to come in and be better coach than Barry Trotz. Maybe he'll be a little bit more free, but I just wonder how that dynamic is going to change. And you mentioned a little bit about, hey, we played there. We had that condensed schedule. We made it to back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals in a short and off season. I think, that very well could be true. I also think it, maybe just a little bit it plays into the possibility of the team's just older. Guys like
I know you guys think that, but it's not as bad as you guys are making it sound. Like 29s and 30s and yeah, but are you guys part of the group that wants to get rid of Beauvillier, who's one of our most,
Nope.
Yeah, our forecheckers who, when you look at the end of our run, and we looked like the Rangers in Game 7 versus Tampa, we couldn't move. One of the few guys who still had juice was Beauvillier. Like, to get rid of him, it's just nuts. Like,
no, see, I don't want to get rid of Anthony Beauvillier. The guys I want to cull from the roster, first of all, why are you signing Cal Clutterbuck back? He's oft injured, 34 years old. You give him a 2-year extension. Why? Why did you?
Because it's free. It's essentially free.
Okay, but you know what? I'd much rather give the spot to a younger player and let him grow into the role as a guy who's going to have
the fourth line.
But here's the thing: the third line is the same way. I mean, it's the same pattern. You got Parise, right? He's going to be 38 next year. Okay, to me,
you watched him last year. You watched him last year, and going to say he was not a good player.
To me, if you want Parise back, he should be playing on the fourth line. Okay, you don't need Matt Martin. Why was it necessary to sign Matt Martin? And here's the thing: these are all things that we spoke about in real time as they occurred, not 3 years down the line. Immediately, we talked about it. You signed Matt Martin back to a 4-year deal, and then for some reason, you felt it necessary to sign Ross Johnston to an identical 4-year deal.
I agree.
Then,
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Then Casey Cizikas, always injured. At his 30-year-old contract, you felt it necessary to give him a 6-year deal to a bottom line center. I'm sorry. You don't pay bottom line. You don't give bottom line players 6-year freaking deals. I've never seen a guy who's a bottom line player get 10 years and 2 freaking contracts. Stop. He's a fourth liner for a reason. He's only scored over 10 goals once in his whole freaking career, but we feel it's essential to give that guy a contract. I mean, and then you got Brock Nelson. You think Brock Nelson's going to shoot it at 20% or 22% clip next year? He won't. Just to let you know, he won't.
He's good.
Okay, and he has been good. But he's not going to shoot 22% like he did last year. He usually shoots an 11% clip. He doubled that last year. You got Aaron Andersley, that freaking totem pole, who the only time he played well was 2 weeks before the trade deadline and 1 week after. Then he went back into the coma that he was in for the last year and a half.
Well, you guys should know better than anyone. When does somebody get back to normal after a torn ACL? The second season. So we're gonna. Oh, by the way, there was a panic deal. I hate all panic deals. By the way, the Kadri deal would be a panic deal because they didn't get her there, and that was a tough one because if I feel for him in that situation, because if you were in his shoes and Panarin pulled that nonsense on you and you're looking around and now you let your captain go too, you're just some guy at that point. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're letting everyone go. So that's a tough situation to be in. Nelson's pretty nasty, man. You can say what you want. This guy, he can snipe. You could seen it for years. Maybe it's not as high as last year, but he's good, man. He's good. He absolutely is very good.
I love Nelson.
He's just real good. And Lee, you saw Lee last season score. He's one of those guys, many forwards. It's actually all forwards, score in bunches. And I'll guarantee you, although he's not my kind of player, I said this to you guys at the time, that's an under market value. You can guarantee yourself that Kyle Palmieri is going to score more goals this year. It's just guaranteed. It's impossible not to.
No,
I know.
See, another guy. Why? Just here, Andy. Here's my philosophy.
That stock can't drop any lower. Anyway, continue, Grump.
Here's my philosophy. You got a guy who's 30 years old. Let someone else sign him to a long-term deal. I'm not signing guys in their 30s to long-term deals.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I'm going to say, when I say never, I'm talking about Hammond Eggers, which is the vast majority. I'm talking about the Kyle Palmieri.
You mean supplementary players?
Yes, because I'm 100% agree.
I like that. Supplementary that's a way to say it in an astute way. Hammond Eggers, Grumpy. I feel like
I'm not astute. I just call them Hammond Eggers because you know what? You get them at any bar, you could get them in any diner, any place USA. Ham and eggs, they all taste the same. They're just replacement food.
Denny's ham and eggs taste. I've actually never eaten that at Denny's.